Hello, my friends. Welcome to Thursday night. I can't believe it's Thursday, October 30th. Welcome, one and all. I'm doing without one of my lights tonight because I've got a splitting headache. So I'm trying to not have, those lights beating down on me. So we got kind of a Awake Zombies vibe going tonight, for those of you familiar with that. And And good to see you all. I am going to make sure, first of all, that I have the link posted on Snedheads for the show tonight. So let me get that up for you real quick. And let me see here. There we go. There we go. Okay. And all right, my friends, what is happening? What's on your mind tonight that you would like to discuss? There are many things happening right now, and I'm kind of interested to see what you guys have to say about the haps in the world. And yes, the music is "Art of Silence" by Unique. Thank you, Gigi. Um, Yeah, I'm trying to drink some more water, but definitely, yeah, good to see you, Edward. What's happening? I can thank incoming energy for the headache. Yeah, quite possibly, right? Why didn't Hillary get arrested? Because that's already happened. Um, that's that happened long ago. Many think on 9/11, but the only thing I know for sure, and I don't have any specifics, and anybody that tells you definitively that she's been arrested doesn't really know. But what I can tell you is that she has not been in charge of her Twitter account for a very long time. And by that, I mean that her Twitter has actually given us comms, and straight into really nasty posts about her, the Clinton Foundation, Haiti, emails, the back channel communications, um, the Uranium One. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many of her posts, and she's quite familiar with the Q drops because she was mentioned probably more than anybody else in the Q drops. And I did do that earlier today, actually. That might not be a bad idea. That's your favorite intro music? I'm glad to hear that, D. I brought that back into the mix here. She's definitely being controlled. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for your note about last night's show, Kev. I appreciate it. I have not gotten back to you on that. Yeah, so welcome one and all. This is quite an interesting time. Now, I want to get into what's going on with with the trip to um, China and South Korea, and I want to take you to the um, the Q drops from today's Delta, and it starts out with the following. Let me pull this up right away. Oh. So number one comes up because October 30th is mentioned in that drop that Hillary Clinton would be arrested on that day. Number 12 is the first one of October 30th. Military intelligence referenced above is the absolute biggest inside drop this board will ever receive. Now think about why Antifa plays right into the plan, always ahead, good guys are winning. Now, who's behind the ICE hassle? the people that are hassling the ICE agents and the people that are, rioting, the people that are demonstrating in the streets is Antifa and all the money of that line right there. This was mentioned in 2017. The military intelligence has infiltrated Antifa. They have all the details of this. And that's why, with this Charlie Kirk narrative, is so important to go in the direction of these platforms, if you will, of anti-American behavior. Is they have to find out the money and where it's coming from, and they already have, but they needed you and I on board. They needed us to the normies to be awake to it, because the military in the streets has to be seen as benefit to us. Because if the military came under Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, well, we know what their agenda was. We know what their agenda was. So this is really, really important. And also the timing of this is very, very prescient, because number 13, now think about the timing of POTUS traveling to China and South Korea. I've said too much. God bless patriots. Well, President Trump just got back from there today, right? And this was 8 years ago, today's Delta, about this timing. Now, let me take you to President Trump and what he said today about China, because I want to get the China stuff kind of out of the way, because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about what's going on right here in the United States. And excuse me, let me I don't like how Truth Social moves around the people that I go to the most, right? Like I want to be able to like go right to where I want to go. And not be pitched somebody else, right? And that's why I have the drop, by the way. As a matter of fact, I didn't do that. And what I needed to do, because I'm still dancing around, is I needed to go to Snedheads, go to the X and Truth feeds, scroll down President Trump, and I'm there in like 3 clicks. And I don't have to deal with anybody else on X. So let me take you down to his comment about his meeting with President Xi. Okay, let me open this up a little bit, and there we go. I had this was, by the way, this was at 4:09 a.m. this morning. Okay. And we're going to go to that next. And also, okay. So let me take you there. Okay. I had a truly great meeting with President Xi of China. There is an enormous respect between our two countries, and that will only be enhanced with what just took place. We agreed on many things, with others, even of high importance, being very close to resolved. I was extremely honored by the fact that President Xi authorized China to begin the purchase of massive amounts of soybeans, sorghum, and other farm products. Our farmers will be very happy. In fact, as I said once before during my first administration, farmers should immediately go out and buy more land and larger tractors. I would like to thank President Xi for this. Additionally, China has agreed to continue the flow of rare earth, critical minerals, magnets, etc., openly and freely. Very significantly, China has strongly stated that they will work diligently with us to stop the flow of fentanyl into our country. That's very key because much of it is made there. There's a lot of it that's made in Canada as well that we have to stop that from coming in. They will help us end the fentanyl crisis. China also agreed that they will begin the process of purchasing American energy. In fact, a very large scale transaction may take place concerning the purchase of oil and gas from the great state of Alaska. Chris Wright, Doug Burgum, and our respective energy teams will be meeting to see if such an energy deal can be worked out. The agreements reached today will deliver prosperity and security to millions of Americans. After this historic trip to Asia, I am now heading back to Washington, D.C. I want to thank the great countries of Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea for being so generous, gracious, and hospitable. Also, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, who were at the dinner last night, hosted by His Excellency Lee Jae-myung. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being brought into our country because of them. Our nation is strong, respected, and admired again. The best is yet to come. Okay, so let's do this. Let's capture let's just see if President Trump has an additional message here. And we'll go to back to Sned heads. We'll go to research Q drops. We'll go to capital letter counter, and we'll paste that string in, and we come up with 113. Okay. So we're going to go with that and also the mirror. Okay. Now, let me first take you to 409. 409 is the timestamp, the AM timestamp. Correct exchange. Anons changed our mind regarding private public. We are listening. Highest priority, have faith. Okay. So what Q's talking about here is how much Q keeps quiet and how much Q makes public to the rest of us. And that it's a highest priority as to how much they reveal to the public. And so that's just kind of a communication as to why there's so much that has happened behind the scenes already. We'll also go to 49 and the mirror 94. 49 is follow Senator Grassley. What is different effective this week? So again, he took us to Senator Grassley, and I took us there last night to follow Senator Grassley. President Trump took us there again. Okay. And as I showed you last night, let me take you to Chuck Grassley. He did a post about breast cancer awareness. Today was his last post. He posted about the Arctic frost findings with my Senate Judiciary GOP colleagues. Transparency brings accountability. And this was the one that we saw yesterday. And we have constantly been taken to the harvest when somebody was brought to light or somebody was indicted. Now, this could have, a few different meanings, but we believe it's a definite calm. And not only is he in this ear of corn, but he just, brought up Arctic frost. And we have the blizzard here, which I believe represents Arctic frost or the coming storm. because it's not too difficult to realize. Also, fire alarm is kind of big because he's kind of sounding the alarm here with this Arctic frost story, and this I showed you last night. Now, this is the Biden administration, which the more that we get into the auto pen and that he wasn't actually, signing these agreements, these pardons, and these executive orders, that we're going to find out who did and who was behind all this, and how much of that was the shadow government of Barack Obama. Now, you and I, for the most part, we believe that was part of the show. That was, the white hats giving the black hats scripts, or allowing the black hats to simply be exposed in the way that they need to be exposed. And I'm going to get to something like that in a moment. But this is huge because they actually spied on these U.S. senators. And I'm going to show you a little bit more on that. Of course, none of them are talking about it in terms of the Democrats, because what they're doing is they're finding that this, and I wanted to get the Ted Cruz up here. Yeah, I went through a lot here today. And so this is what's so important about this is that now they're caught dead to rights. Like, they know this happened with Jack Smith and Judge Boasberg. So this is part of absolutely exposing. I'm going to play this for you again from Senator Grassley.
That includes a hard line for Senator Cruz's office and a staffer's cell phone for former Senator Loeffler.
So they tried to subpoena Verizon to tap the office phone in your office?
Well, to get the phone records, and they also subpoenaed AT&T to get my cell phone records. And I'll tell you, AT&T did the right thing. They refused to comply with the subpoena. Their legal counsel concluded that it was protected by the speech and debate clause of the Constitution. But one of the things that is amazing, along with that subpoena they sent to AT&T, they also included an order from Judge Boasberg, who's one of these left-wing radical judges who's issuing nationwide injunctions. Judge Boasberg ordered AT&T, do not tell Cruz we are subpoenaing his cell phone records. Why? And he makes a conclusion. He says, because I conclude if he's informed, Cruz will destroy or tamper with evidence and intimidate witnesses. That is utterly without factual basis. It is a complete abuse of judicial power. And I've called on the House of Representatives to impeach Judge Boasberg. The Constitution, when Judge Boasberg decided to become a partisan warrior and be part of the most egregious abuse of power, this is Joe Biden's Watergate. And I believe the House should impeach Judge Boasberg. And I also think we are going to get to the bottom of every partisan who signed off on surveilling and spying on 20% of the Republicans in the Senate. That's what Joe Biden and their DOJ did.
It's wild. These judges. Senator.
That's wild. These judges, right? So part of this is going to be the exposure of the judicial system and these judges that are getting in the way of President Trump trying to do his job to get out the illegal migrants, right? So President Trump took us there again today. He took us there last night, took us there again today. Follow Senator Grassley. What is different effective this week? What do you notice? Why does Senator Grassley, one example, have a higher than normal amount of security detail? Why is Grassley and others held in a secure location? When did this start? What has been different this week? Okay, well, let's go to that. What's different this week? And we have this story of, sorry, I just lost my place there. By the way, thanks for the tip. I just put some Celtic sea salt under my tongue, and I hope that that clears things up here a little bit. And I broke down and took some Advil too. Hopefully that'll help. So this is the story that just came out today about these, the Trump cabinet members. Okay. The Trump cabinet members moving into military housing amidst wave of political violence. Horrible picture of Stephen Miller. I don't know why they do that. White House Immigration Policy Advisor Stephen Miller held a TV interview and gaggle with journalists today. This was Pebble Beach. Wait a minute. Why was that posted today? A number of high-profile members of President Trump's cabinet have moved on to military bases amid a wave of political violence. Maybe just somebody caught it today, because I did not know this. In August, the Washington Post reported that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had been living rent-free on a military base in the Washington area. The move, spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin said, came as a result of Noem being horribly doxxed and targeted to the point that she was no longer able to safely live in her own apartment. So normally reserved for top Navy admirals, Secretary of State Rubio, Stephen Miller, and a number of others have made similar moves. At least 6 by our count living in the Washington area military housing, where they are shielded not just from potential violence, but also from protest. It is an ominous marker of the nation's polarization to which the Trump administration has itself contributed. Had you guys heard that before? Because I have not heard that. I knew that Kristi Noem, like they did something with her. I didn't know she was on this military base. So there, in comes the military, right? Both Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth live on General's Roll at Fort McNair, an Army enclave along the Anacostia River. What the hell's going on with my... Stephen Miller's wife was threatened. Yeah, I hate some of these sites. Let me just do this, especially Yahoo. You got to be kidding me. According to officials from the state and defense departments, Rubio spent one recent evening assembling furniture that had been delivered to the house that day. So this is becoming more and more important because of the way in which these Democrats are phrasing this. Now, this is very key right now because they're basically making Donald Trump and his administration at fault. So now that people may not be getting SNAP benefits, they have one more day to come to the table, and hopefully the Democrats will come around on that. But there are other ways to fund SNAP, and I know that the administration has a method in which they can do that, but they're not doing it because they don't want to give in to the Democrats, and they want the Democrats to agree to just the continuing resolution. And since they have not done that, then that's become, the sticking point and why we're having such a major problem. with the Democrats right now. But I want to take you, excuse me, to a couple of the Democrats. One is Kamala. Okay, let me pull this up for you. Kamala. Here we go.
Are you fucking kidding me? This guy
Fucking.
wants to create a ballroom for his rich friends while completely turning a blind eye to the fact that babies are going to starve when the SNAP benefits end in just hours from now.
Babies are going to starve. I saw Hakeem Jeffries today. He's ripping the food out of babies' hands and mouths. I mean, their screenwriters are pretty damn good, but very transparent.
Come on. So what? I'm not going to be distracted by, oh, does the guy have a big fucking hammer? What about those babies?
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So dropping the F-bomb, right? Which President Trump alluded to earlier this week in an interview when he said you can't drop like 20 in the same day. He says maybe one every seven press briefings. But you lose the potency, you lose the effect, and and so that was Kamala. Excuse me. Here's Chucky Boy, and he somebody told him, we got to get you full-size glasses because you look like an old man. This doesn't even look like Chuck Schumer to me, but just listen and watch.
On Saturday, for the first time in American history, a vicious, heartless president is cutting off food stamps to hungry children, elderly who can't afford enough food to feed themselves, veterans who are down on their luck, all because he wants to use them as hostages so that Democrats will stop fighting for people's health care. We can do both, provide better health care and provide SNAP benefits to the tens of millions who need it. This president is a fucking liar. He says there's no money to provide food stamps because of the shutdown. That's bullshit. His own agriculture department said there's plenty of money. Every president during shutdowns has provided the money that's needed, even Trump in his first term. He is bludgeoning the American people, using the most innocent of victims to try and go along with his cruel shutdown, which takes away health care from millions of Americans. He is the most vindictive politician America has ever seen, and the most heartless man America has ever seen in the presidency. We're fighting him every step of the way.
We're fighting him. He's vindictive. He's the worst. And this is their shutdown. And they want President Trump to release the SNAP benefits so that they can continue their fight against him. Why? Well, because we showed the numbers last night. Only 18% of those on SNAP benefits are U.S. citizens. How do you justify that? Well, they have to go after it, because they have to take care of the people that they promised this to. But as I showed you last night, there's Afghans, 45.6%, Somalis, 42.4%, Iraqi, 34.6%, Dominican, 34.4%, Caribbean, 28.2%. These are not Native Americans, except the Native Americans, which are, 27.6, it looks like. Okay. But all these people that they brought in, they guaranteed this money to. And when that goes away, the shit's going to hit the fan. And I think part of this is to expose these truths about these numbers, but also to expose the agreement between the people that brought them here and what's actually happening. How vocal are these immigrants going to be about that broken agreement? The reason why Chucky's dropping the F-bomb and Kamala is dropping the F-bomb is because they're the ones that promised them these benefits. And if it comes out that that's what they did, that's insurrection. And we know it, but to hear it from firsthand from the actual immigrants, that's going to be huge, right? Yeah, no baby is going to starve in this day and time. Resources are everywhere. The gaslighting is sickening. Exactly. They're not percentage of total. They're percentage of those nationalities. Yes. Yeah, because that adds up to much of them. So it's 45.6% of Afghanis are on SNAP benefits. Those are the numbers, to be clear. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, because they add up to way over 100%, obviously. So I kind of read that wrong initially. Yeah, it's going to be biblical. They're all about fear. That's exactly what they're doing. And they're trying to start a civil war without question. Without question. Yeah, the most vindictive gaslighting piece of shit on earth chuckles. Yeah. So we're going to, it's going to be very interesting that when Friday tomorrow hits, I would be surprised if the Democrats don't cave because they're terrified that that's going to come out. Right. And they're dropping the F-bombs, it's kind of ridiculous, but they absolutely feel desperate. Rand Paul. Now, Rand Paul is he drops this post, which was important. Let me take you to that here. But we're going to talk about Rand Paul here in a moment. This is an alarming trend. We need to ask ourselves why so many Americans are on SNAP. Federal spending on SNAP has more than doubled in the past 5 years. Federal food SNAP spending in billions. It literally went from somewhere in the ballpark of 61 all the way up to 145, right? So it's more than doubled. And that's the spending in billions. So we went from spending 61 billion up to like 144 billion just in 5 years. How did that happen? It's called Joe Biden. And this is what they're spending on in America. I don't think this is on Americans, which is what he says, Rand Paul. I think this is total America spending, which we know because of the Biden economy, Americans are definitely more went on SNAP most likely, but also all the illegal migrants, right? Now, Rand also, so there was a vote today, and it was, it had to do with the tariffs, right? And they voted 51, Spencer Hakimian, the Senate voted, 50 to 46 to strip Donald Trump of his power to impose tariffs. Actually, it says 51 to 47. Now, a joint resolution terminating the national emergency declared to impose global tariffs. Couple things. One, this has to go before the House and be passed by the House, which I don't think it will be. But if it is, President Trump can veto it. And if the veto goes back to the Senate and the House, then they have to have 60 that agree to it to get out of the Senate. So they can't just win with a majority. They've got to win with 60. Okay. So so that's really key. And let me take you to my post on this today to let you know who voted. Let me see where to go. No, that was yesterday. I think I reposted this. Oh, I guess I didn't. My bad. But let me take you to it. This is basically, it was Rand Paul. I'm basically looking to figure out who voted, who were the Republicans that voted. And bear with me here. It just got hot in here all of a sudden. Man, oh man, I'm having all kinds of issues. What the hell's going on? Where the hell's my there it is. All right, got the fan on. Oof. And I forget who it was. Let me see. Okay, so it was Mitch McConnell, Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, Senator Rand Paul, and Susan Collins from Maine. All Republicans that voted to stop President Trump's tariffs. So very, very important to know. And this is key. Now, this is the rally in Minneapolis that's going on. Speaking of all these people on government assistance, what's going on here? Sorry, friends. It kicked me out. Let me get back to you. Hold on. Let me find that again. My computer just kind of went wonky here. And it just did not continue. Here we go. So I completely lost everything. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So this is Omar Fateh. I don't know how the hell you pronounce it, and I sure as hell wish that that we didn't have to strain to pronounce the names of that are running for politicians, right? So he's currently a state senator, and he is running to be the mayor of Minneapolis. Here he is.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Hiran State. Mawisle. Early voting was hadda illa November 4. I need your vote. I need you. Hadan Udkina, hello. We're gonna win.
So, waving a Somali flag, not an American flag. He's got an American flag behind him, speaking in a foreign language. It's like, what the hell's going on? Now, you know that the Somalis in Minnesota are going to come out 100% and vote for that guy, because this isn't whether or not, oh, do I like this guy or not? No, he's a Somali Muslim. And so they're going to vote for him because that is their infiltration of our nation. That is the game plan. This is the takeover that we're experiencing, and that the Democrats absolutely financed, created. And Tim Burchett says this needs to stop, right? So yeah, it's right in our face, folks. It's absolutely right in our face. This is, speaking of just like, is this even our country anymore? All right. This happened in Texas. Okay. Bell County Sheriff's Office showing up at my front door, all because I make anti-Israel post. Is it free speech when Israel can just send your local cops to your door when you make posts they don't like?
Is that doorbell camera right there? Yeah.
State police.
The dog, the row on it. Oh, there's a dog in there? Yeah, row on it.
3 of them.
Hey! There? Maybe that was a dog. We're here because of the comments you made online. Are you sure? I'm saying, are you? We get that. I get that. So we gotta make sure that you're not gonna harm water. No, that's why we're here. Yes.
We're here about posts you made online.
We're here because because of the comments you made online about the Jewish community? Are you
So what?
No, I'm saying, are you?
I have a freedom of speech, dude.
Yeah, no, we get that.
We get that.
We just we gotta make sure that you're not.
Do you have a warrant?
No.
No, that's why we're.
Okay, you see that sign?
Yeah.
So that says no soliciting. What you're doing is basically soliciting. You understand that, right? Yeah. It means you're not welcomed here.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Well
Stay
done.
off the lawn, please.
Unbelievable. This is Texas. Those are fucking Americans right there. They know their rights. They know
This is what they're doing, guys. You make comments about the Jews online, they'll fucking show up at your door. This is what they do. This is freedom of speech. This is how much control Israel has over our country.
Three cars.
Look at this response. For exercising my freedom of speech online. Wow. What a fucking joke. What a fucking joke. Can't wait to do some auditing of you boys. Bye-bye.
He handled that well. You're soliciting. You're in violation.
Look at that. Sign says no soliciting. What do they think they're fucking doing? They got no warrant. Sign that says no soliciting does not give you a right to my curtilage. Bye-bye. Freedom of speech.
Wow. Wow. I'm yeah. I don't know, did he there's still time. Stay off the lawn, please. I wonder if he posted his actual post. But you know, that's what we're up against. We're losing our country, and if people don't see, you know, yes, President Trump looks like he supports Israel. But you and I both know that that's part of the show, and we're saving Israel for last. And I've explained to you, he's taken out the mainstream media. He's taken out the banks. He's taken out the IRS. That's all that's a Khazarian mob right there, folks. Control over our minds, control over our money. And he's destroying that with the crypto, by the way, with the crypto, with the no tax on tips, overtime, the whole bit. We know it's changing. We know it's changing. Yeah, he handled that really well. Yeah, I don't know his comment. It doesn't seem to be on there. Let me see. Let me see if I can find. It's Adam the Angler, who I'm going to follow. Maybe it was this. Here we go. Somebody said, Eyal said, silence Jew, or somebody said, keep fucking with us. Okay, here it is. This is treason. Arrest all the Democrats and Jews. Breaking. FBI just dropped nearly 200 pages posted by House Judiciary proving the state Trump cases weren't state at all. The Biden DOJ and FBI ran it all the way through proxy AGs to cripple Trump, his lawyers, his electors, and the entire MAGA movement. And here's that Kash Patel, FBI. This is the Arctic Frost story. Okay. This is treason. Arrest all the Democrats and the Jews. A little bit of, challenging. I mean, it's like I don't want all the Jews arrested. I don't want all the Democrats arrested. I want the people that are in control. arrested. The people that broke the law arrested. Eyal says, keep fucking with us. And his response was, silence Jew. Defamatory. I mean, it's not really a nice way to talk to somebody, but that's an argument. That's an online argument. And so it's just ridiculous that they're showing up for something like that. It's just ridiculous. I didn't go back to this. This was the rest of that. Right here. Okay. Yeah. So there you have it. It's really amazing. This is a good point, Lisa. Azure and AWS platforms are failing. The whole internet is going to crash. Dave mentioned last night, I think. I mentioned about the see, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I don't have a real clear understanding of the internet, but I know that the infrastructure is primarily, that's good. Like that doesn't have a problem. The Amazon system has a problem because they need more chips, and that's why they just laid off 30,000 people. Amazon just laid off 30,000 people because they need to buy chips, and they need to and their cloud computing business is very thin margins, whereas the retail is very big, but the cloud computing is very thin margins, and they need a lot more chips for the cloud computing, but they handle cloud computing for the CIA. They got a $640 million contract years ago, and soon after, Bezos bought the Washington Post. Phil, I appreciate that, brother, and it is much appreciated and much needed as well. So, folks, if you would like to, let's go. Yeah, if you would like to support my work, support this show, I need your help. I need you to step it up and help me out with this. And this is, this is a lot to, a lot of Anons. I don't know if you guys are finding this out, but a lot of big Anon accounts are going offline. I don't know what's going on. They're saying that they're beat. They're saying that they need a break. If you guys know of any big Anon accounts that are going quiet, let me know. But this is the word, and some people even think that maybe they're out of the country, but a lot of them are just saying that they're just burnt out. But this is kind of like a key time right now. I'm burnt out, like without question. As long as I've been doing this, as consistently as I've been doing this, it takes a toll, and it's one thing to have to go down these rabbit holes and figure out the comms and figure out the confirmations, figure out the everything, keep abreast of what's happening in the world. Republicans, Democrats, a whole ball of wax, but it makes it very difficult to do. And I think it's a stress headache, to be honest with you. But it makes it very different when I turn around and then, I've got a mountain of bills that I got to take care of. And I'm talking to an audience that knows I haven't gotten rich off this movement. I'm just looking to cover my overhead until we get on the other side of this thing. So please donate if you can. And if you cannot, if you're in a tough time, I do not want you to donate. That's why I give this away for free. So thank you. Get your name on the wheel. We'll do a spin. I think I got one donation last night on one platform and a few on the other. So I don't know if we're going to have enough for the wheel, but I'll check that here in a little bit. And I do plan on doing a show tomorrow night, because I think tomorrow's a very big day, obviously, with the SNAP benefits cutting off, to see if the House came through to see what's going on with all that. So I will be doing a show tomorrow night, and we'll see about Saturday. Also got word today from Rawls Alerts that the Democrat senators have been blocked from a classified Senate briefing on Venezuela. And this is kind of key, because the Democrats are now coming out and saying that we're basically at war with Venezuela because, for example, yesterday, another boat was taken out, and Pete Hegseth posted on it. Here it is. Now, it doesn't look like there's any people on there, which is kind of odd. I mean, this could all even be for show, like just to show them what they're doing. But I didn't see any people on this boat. And why would a boat, supposedly full of drugs, 3 outboard motors, so that it goes really fast, unless they're napping or something, but but because of the connection to Venezuela, I've even heard the Democrats saying that we're basically at war with Venezuela because of what we're doing to their drug boats. So very odd languaging from them, but also very interesting timing on it all. And they're taking care of President Trump. Think about this. A lot of that fentanyl is coming from China, right? So he's taking care of it in the ocean before it gets to our city streets and our small towns. He's going over to China and talking to them about it, saying, you got to stop this fentanyl. And he's put a lot of pressure on Canada with this trade deal, because they're not shutting their border to the fentanyl and the illegal migration. So I see a lot going down right now to stop the drug trade, and it's going to be wonderful to see the fentanyl deaths go to zero. How awesome would that be? We go from 200,000 to zero, right? Vince Langman posted the following. John Fetterman has voted with the Republican Party to open up the government 12 times in the past few weeks. Rand Paul has voted with the Democrats to harm President Trump and keep the government closed 12 times during the same time frame. Let that sink in. Right? It's, and President Trump has been calling out Rand Paul. He's been calling out Thomas Massey for voting against him and not understanding. A friend of mine texted me the other day with a Glenn Greenwald bit and about how Trump is against Massey and Paul, and how great those two guys are. But here's the thing. What have they done? What did they do before Trump came along? What have they done since? They haven't done diddly squat. Okay. And that's a fancy way of saying zero. To move this country forward in a way that we really need to move it forward, and that is free and sovereign, which is the word that President Trump mentioned aboard the ship in Japan to the soldiers, that you'll come home to a free, safe, and sovereign nation. Okay, that wasn't an accident that he did. Okay. And remember, just yesterday, he reposted the best is yet to come with a Q plus on his collar, with him wrapped in a flag without the gold fringe, by the way. Okay. So the best is yet to come, my friends. And we, but the people are being exposed that stand in the way of President Trump. And by the way, Netanyahu is standing in the way of President Trump. He's being exposed because President Trump is trying to do the peace deal and he keeps ramping it right back up. Okay. So let me take us back to the Q drops here from the and by the way, the tariffs, somebody mentioned that they were just for Canada. I don't think that was specific to Canada because it was taking away President Trump's emergency order to be able to do that. So it's I think it's across all the different countries that he's presently doing it with. So the security detail at Grassley, secure location. What's been different? Uranium One FBI informant. Have secret sessions been underway? How could this be discovered? What must be reported, even if filed under state secrets? It's a name recognized around the world. Alice in Wonderland. This is the Hillary Clinton treason and the Barack Obama treason with the Uranium One and trying to start World War III. These are, if we go to Think Mirror on 49, if she's not, I think they're gunning for her. How can she repay the money sent to Clinton Foundation for influence? Do they have Huma? Review my other threads. This is why complete graphics are so important. Barack Obama paid the debt prior to leaving office. HRC is not currently in Saudi Arabia. Bill wants a deal, playing the former president card. Watch the cookie quickly crumble. Where does Soros fit in? Godfather 3. Now, folks, when Bill wants a deal and Hillary, they know where she is. They know what Barack Obama did. This was 2017, November 5th, 2017. So did an arrest occur? Well, if there was an arrest that occurred, why would Bill Clinton want a deal? Or if he didn't know arrests were imminent? Okay. So this is a part of the whole situation. And also what we were taken to was, public and private. Much of what they've done is kept private. Much is public. It used to be 80-20, 80% we don't see, 20% we see. And then it changed to 60-40. So that we were seeing a little bit more. He took us with his post on China. President Trump was 113 capital letters, social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Saudi Arabia relevant, controlling stakes in ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox News. Why is this relevant? What is Operation Mockingbird? Active. Who is Anderson Cooper? What is Anderson Cooper's background? CIA. Why is this relevant? Snow White, Godfather 3, Speed. Trump is letting us know, my friends, about the internet and about the mainstream media. And I think this might be a heads up to let us know for sure that any information we're getting from there or any, breakdown in the internet is going to be because they're covering their ass, which is the Barack Obama situation. And 311, the Think Mirror, what was USS code name for Hussein? Renegade. Define. They knew all along. Expand your thinking. They knowingly committed treason, folks. He was renegade from the word go. Okay, a traitor, an outsider. Well, let's look it up. We've done this before. It's even in the Q drops. But a A renegade is a person who deserts, betrays, or rebels against an organization, group, cause, or set of principles they were previously loyal to. It often implies disloyalty or going rogue and can be used in contexts like politics, military, or even informally for someone who breaks from norms. Historical soldier who defects to the enemy side, a politician who abandons their party to join rivals. So this is Barack Obama. Okay. So that was President Trump's last truth, or his truth regarding his meeting with Xi. Okay. So let me take you back to X. Let's see. Okay. So Thomas Massey is posting Nicholas Lissac. Prince Andrew will be stripped of his prince title and shown the door at Royal Lodge. This is a huge victory for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his network of predators. Andrew has shamed the royal family and disgraced Britain. He is a vile and despicable man. A statement from Buckingham Palace, Thursday, 30 October 2025. His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. His lease on Royal Lodge has to date provided him with legal protection to continue in residence. Formal notice has now been served to surrender the lease, and he will move to alternative private accommodation. These censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Ends. Wow. Pretty big, my friends. That's a pretty big deal right there. All right. And he was Epstein's guy, without question. Problem is, Charles was Jimmy Savile's guy. Thomas Massey takes this opportunity to say this is a victory for victims. However, it appears that rich and powerful men in the United States have immunities and privileges exceeding those of royalty in Britain. Speaker Johnson is avoiding a vote on releasing Epstein files by keeping the House in recess. It's not a hoax. No, it's not, Thomas, but that's why you need to be a Q dude, okay? Because you understand that this is all going to come out. It just can't happen yet. And we've got to take care of the U.S. Basically, I mean, look what they just uncovered with Arctic frost. The Biden administration spying on 20% of the senators, the Republicans. And no one's talking about that. It's all about the SNAP benefits. All right. Okay. This is very interesting. Okay. So let me play this for you. This is getting very, very interesting, friends. And by the way, this is why the Epstein files come out. He's linked directly to Mossad. Period. Full stop. Ghislaine directly to Mossad. Okay. Elaine's father directly to Mossad. Okay. These are the connections. Right? And they're not ready to do that yet because we're still unearthing things like this. Here we go.
I'll have more to say on this in the coming days, but today I want to be clear about one thing. Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. And of course, anti-Semitism should be condemned. My loyalty as a Christian and as an American is to Christ first and to America always. When it serves the interests of the United States to cooperate with Israel and other allies, we should do so with partnerships on security, intelligence, and technology. But when it doesn't, conservatives should feel no obligation to reflexively support any foreign government, no matter how loud the pressure becomes from the globalist class or from their mouthpieces in Washington. The Heritage Foundation didn't become the intellectual backbone of the conservative movement by canceling our own people or policing the consciences of Christians. And we won't start doing that now. We don't take direction from comments on X, though we are grateful for the robust free speech debate. We also don't take direction from members or donors, though we are inherently grateful for their support. And we're adding more every day. This is the robust debate we invite with our colleagues, our movement friends, our members, and the American public. We will always defend truth. We will always defend America, and we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson, who remains, and as I have said before, always will be a close friend of the Heritage Foundation. The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division. Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Most importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right. I disagree with, and even abhor, things that Nick Fuentes says. But canceling him is not the answer either. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. And we have seen success in this approach as we continue to dismantle the vile ideas of the left. As my friend Vice President Vance said last night, what I am not okay with is any country coming before the interest of American citizens, and it is important for all of us, assuming we are American citizens, to put the interest of our own country first. That's where our allegiance lies, and that's where it will stay.
This in reaction to the Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson interview, conversation, which I told you I got about 3/4 of the way through it 2 days ago. Oh, shoot. I just undid my lights with my big ass feet. I'm stretching out my legs. And by the way, my legs are killing me right now. Some deep squats yesterday in my workout routine. All right. I'm going to have to deal with that later. There we go. All right. I got my Tootsie Toes doing the work there. I'm like the the band guy who's hitting the bass drum with his ass. I got it all going on. So this is in response. Excuse me. This is in response to the pressure. There's been speculation that Heritage is distancing itself from Tucker Carlson over the past 24 hours. I want to put that to rest right now. Here are my thoughts. That's the guy. The one who reposted this, his name is Jonathan Greenberg. He said, "Jews, no one is coming to our rescue. Buy guns, buy ammo, train, carry, do it now." Really? Okay. So this is coming after Jews by this guy just saying that we respect you, but we feel no obligation. There should be no pressure of an American or America to support another country. Why is that such a big deal? And why is questioning that Anti-Semitic. I met a Ukraine girl, woman, but young woman. She was delightful. I don't have a problem with Ukraine people. She was lovely. I've got a problem with the people that control Ukraine, that launder money, that that traffic children, that embezzle the money that we have sent them, that violated the treaty that they signed with Russia in 2014, that they would not allow NATO into their borders. Meanwhile, he's plugging to join NATO. They're plugging to join NATO because that's a lot more money for the defense industry. I'll tell you that much right now. But this is really, really serious stuff. And I got to show you something else too. Let me do this here. Let me find that. Cheers, everybody. I hope you're doing well tonight. Thank you for those of you who are stepping up to support the people that aren't getting $7,000 per post on X, that aren't monetized on X, that haven't put up a paywall, that haven't taken money, I think, from the Flynn network, that haven't taken money from some special interests. That's me. And I try to be as transparent as I can here. I try to be as, this is fact, this is speculation, okay, based on what I know about these facts. I don't tell you I know exactly what's going to happen, but I do believe that we are watching something bigger than we can even imagine, as Anons, as patriots, as followers of Q. I think I'm going to, as much as I know, I think I'm going to be blown away by what is unveiled. Like, I wasn't aware of Arctic frost. Okay. That's huge. Like they said, that's Joe Biden's Watergate, right? Thank you, Pamela. If you would like a link to the one that Diana dropped and the one that I dropped on YouTube, I need to drop it on X as well. That will take you to, let me share this with you. Donation Nation on Snedheads. Okay. If you click that, it takes you directly to Stripe. Okay. And you have all these options here. Okay. And if you pay without link, it gives you an option for a credit card, it gives you an option for Cash App Pay, Google Pay, Afterpay, more payment methods. You can go crypto, you can go bank. And if you go bank, you can find your bank here, and it's just a simple bank to Stripe transactions. Very secure. Stripe is a major player. The banks, obviously. And so you can do it. This is the best way to do it. Or unless you have Zelle and you go bank to bank directly right into my Wells Fargo account. So thank you for that. This link is the one that Moonbeam is dropping, and I also dropped on what do you call it, on YouTube. So yeah, folks, we thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. The Arctic frost could also mean the DQ blizzard that Trump showed us. Mary, did Trump do that or was that Grassley? I know Grassley did. And Trump led us to Grassley, certainly with his last post, right? Thank you, Texas Patriot, JB. I appreciate that. Yeah, Arctic frost, Whip and Spur, should take DC all the way down to rubble, without question. Without question. That's a great point. That's a very great point. Yeah, none of us know what's going to happen, and that's intentional, folks. We cannot expect Trump or the Q team to forecast what they're going to do. They have used the method of predictive programming to let us know that, it's going to happen in the future, but no specific date. You remember DQ Blizzard on The Apprentice. Interesting, Dina. Okay. Human non-dancer. Dave says a great deal without saying anything. It's quite an art. Thank you very much for that. That is what I try to bring you, is more than just what's happening out there, but Trump was handing them out. When did he do that? Yeah. Thank you, Mary Drinks Beer. Appreciate that. Yeah, Grassley with the corn harvest had it. Trillium. Yeah. Thank you, D. Appreciate you. Thank you for all those who are stepping up and supporting this kind of independent media. It's so very, very important, folks. And I've got a long way to go and a short while to get there. So I do appreciate you guys making this a priority, making this kind of work a priority. There I go again. Losing my blue tint in and out here. I'll fix that when I send you to a video here. So, and I'm not monetized on X because I don't have enough. You got to have a sick amount of impressions, and I do a lot on X. But let me take you to this. This is really important. And by the way, yeah, how did the Q team know? This is from the Rubber Duck. How did the Q team know about this trip to South Korea and to meet with China? And that was 8 years ago. Okay. Or on this calendar, is that actually today on the real calendar? Like you've seen where 2017 is actually 2025, and it's very, very interesting that we're getting these kind of comms at such auspicious times, right? So let me take you to some things here. Specifically, disturbing. This was back in 2024. Okay. Breaking. Ex-Mossad chief admits Israel has planted bombs in most countries on earth. Booby-trapped and manipulated equipment like Hezbollah's pagers have been placed in all countries you can imagine. From Adam E. Media. Vincent Kennedy, VK, said should be clear to all that our phones are a powerful attack vector in waiting. If it hits the fan, ditch them. Now, as the overreaction happens with this, with even questioning, the role of Israel in the world and the genocide and the attacks, we know about the Samson option. And that is, if they go down, they're going to take everyone out with them. I believe that's why President Trump has gotten all those people, all those leaders in the Middle East on board with this peace agreement, because, you know, we need real allies in the Middle East. I don't consider Israel a real ally, not this current government, not with the things that they're doing. And I think they're absolutely, without question, being exposed, right? Here we go. This happened today. The Schumann resonance. I don't know if you guys were feeling anything special today, but today's Schumann resonance hit a maximum lock far beyond the steady spikes of recent days. Hours of full saturation, no gaps, no fade outs, pressure ringing in the ears, fatigue, energy surges. Can you feel it? Headaches. Yeah, look at that. I've never seen the Schumann like that before. Okay, never. Let me continue on. I want to show you Candace Owens. Again, I've mentioned that I really want us to pay attention to Candace, support her, because so many people are attacking her, Tucker, Fuentes, anybody anti-Israel. Okay, they're being attacked right now. Here it is.
I can now report to you that it is a fact that on 9/4 there were this was not some dropping by in Utah as they were trying to claim because the plane needed to be serviced. That's what they ran with. They ran with this could have been a routine servicing. I guess there's just no place from Egypt all the way to Utah that an Egyptian military plane can like get a tire changed. This is totally routine. Nothing to see here. Well, I'm telling you that for a fact, that plane was carrying military subcontractors. And for a fact, they were dropped off in Provo, okay? And that they did not make it back to Cairo. I showed you the plane left. They left on September 10th. It then laid over in Wilmington, Delaware, and departed back for Cairo on the 11th. I am telling you that when that plane left, okay, those people were mysteriously missing from that plane, okay? What's going on here? Why are Egyptian military subcontractors, what are Egyptian military subcontractors doing in the middle of Provo, Utah on the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Okay. Again, I am saying as a fact, Kash Patel, please feel free to dispute this. In fact, I almost demand that you dispute it. I think you must. You've been saying everybody's conspiracy theorists. Conspiracies are dangerous. Thinking is dangerous. That aircraft was not in Utah for any routine servicing, okay? Rather extraordinarily, this person told me that it was there on some discreet mission. So discreet that this individual was scared for their life to present this information, but felt compelled to present it because they too were horrified, like the rest of the world. Again, the mistake that was made here was executing him publicly. People felt something, right? They felt something. They understood that whatever happened here was a tremendous act of evil. And so what it led to was goodness, more people standing up and doing something brave and saying, we need to root out this evil from our society. What were they doing there? When did they leave? Who are these individuals? I don't understand. Kash Patel, tell us about this flight. Tell us who was on it, okay? I wanted to be very thorough here in presenting this information, so I was like, let's actually upgrade our flight radar account so we can go back 3 years on this plane's flight history, which is really the max setting that you can have on flight radar if you get a business account. And here is what we pulled together for you guys so that you don't have to pay for a business account, which is way too expensive, especially for me, who doesn't actually use Flight Radar often, but I am doing whatever I can to solve the murder of Charlie Kirk. Here it is, 3 years. You can see November in 2022. We can go back as far as November and December of that year. We can see that it routinely flies through Paris. And I noticed, and you can take your time to freeze this and go through everything, as I'm not going to read it all. I noticed that the trend here is that it always flies to an Air Force base, okay? Look in 2025. If you look under 2025, you will see this is what it did. It went from September 4th, it went from Cairo to Paris to France to Minot, North Dakota. On September 10th, it departed Provo. I think I'm missing one here, right? It departed. That's right. September 10th, it departed Provo, Utah at 7:14 a.m. local time. Okay. And I am telling you that aboard that plane, it was not the same people that got onto that plane. Okay. That is what I am told by this individual. She is saying that what actually took place was that they had some Egyptian military subcontractors person that she knows intimately. I would not have taken this to the bank. I had to really walk her through having the courage to do this any further. And I am certain that this happened. And I
Sorry, this is very, very odd. Okay. And we're hearing different stories about this plane. And, but the fact that, you know, we already know that the real story it makes no sense whatsoever. I've explained the reason that we need that story, but we need to keep looking into this, and certainly, you know, question these things. But the reason why I'm not questioning it so much is because I really do think that this is all going to come out in the end, and that we're going to see why it is they did what they did. And I'm hoping that's the case, because I'd like to see Charlie again. And I'd really like to make that happen. And to see why this was so necessary, and that they were going to take him out. And we're going to find out more about that. And this is the Rothschild side of the triangle, that right now they're focused on the Soros side of the triangle, right? So, let me, by the way, many of you signed up for Kraken last night. I don't know how many actually, because you haven't finished what it takes for you to get to $75. Here's my understanding from the website. When you go on and you get your account, then you have to add $200 to that account, and then you have to buy a $200 worth of crypto. Okay. Now, my understanding, you can buy $200 worth of crypto and sell it back, and then put that money back in your bank and still get the $75. So, but you do have to put in $200 is my understanding. So, which I think is a pretty good deal. Like, you basically spend 200, get 200 back, spend 200, get 275 back. So those were the fine line, the fine print that I did not read, that I read today, because I wanted to be sure. So my apologies if I definitely wasn't clear on that, because I didn't know about it last night. and I knew there had to be something because we don't get something for free. But I also, it's a pretty simple thing if you have $200 to spare, to put in, getting $200 worth of the Stronghold SHX, for example, I think is a phenomenal move, or $100 in Stronghold, 100 in XRP. I think we're going to see huge gains on those because of, and again, this is just my opinion. Please don't take a financial advice from me. I am not one that should be giving financial advice, but when it comes to crypto, I take that advice from people that know a hell of a lot more of it about it than I do. And they come to me for Q stuff, by the way. They come to me to talk about stuff, about what's going on in the world, because that's kind of my expertise. So this isn't my expertise, but I have relied on very, very well-versed people on the subject of crypto and also this Kraken account. So please check that out. Moonbeam, if you wouldn't mind dropping that link, I'd appreciate that, so that people can check that out and see what's up. And again, kind of a cool way. Oh, I can get $75 for free, and it kind of introduces you to crypto, right? So keep that in mind. It's a easy way, and it's a secure way to get and hold on to crypto. Okay, let's get back into X. I'm gonna share that Candace on my line. Okay. Let's see. MJ Truth Ultra brings up this good point too that I brought up last night, and that is that not only are some of these top Trump officials moving to the military bases due to the safety threats, Stephen Miller I covered, Marco, Pete Hegseth. Why? Political violence and targeted threats against administration figures. This makes sense as military operations unfold. President Trump, via the Pentagon, has ordered the National Guard to create quick reaction forces, which I covered the other night, in every state and territory by January. And military bases offer robust military protection, turning them into de facto safe havens during domestic unrest. Trust in your president. The next several months are going to be lit. Okay. This, and by the way, MJ Truth Ultra, definitely worth a follow. We follow each other. Great content. Almost 600,000 followers. So and most at that level, I question. I'm gonna, like, how did they get to that level? But this guy has some really, really quality information that I highly recommend. Now, let's see. On this subject, this is a very disturbing situation. Okay, this is Nicholas Fuente. Now, no matter what you know about him, I certainly don't wish harm to this man, and nor should anybody. Josh Hammer called for me and Tucker Carlson to be neutralized after our interview. Will the FBI investigate that comment? Hammer is a Jewish extremist who believes the white people are born with anti-Semitism in their DNA. This anti-white filth needs to be held accountable. Now, he didn't say he should be neutralized. He said just hold him accountable. He posted, Jew hatred is inherent in the European DNA. Europe will never change. Jew hatred is inherent in its collective DNA. I am Jewish proudly. I advocate every single day of my life for the Jewish people and for the Jewish state of Israel. the comments section here. I don't know if it's this one or another post. But let's see. Charlie, said, liberty means if you don't like Gone with the Wind, then don't watch it. If you don't want to leave your home, then don't. If you don't like someone else's views, then don't listen. You don't have to silence people or race history or cancel our culture to feel safe in America. This guy, Josh Hammer, is one of the leading, advocates for, Charlie wasn't having a problem with the Jews. Yeah, I don't think it's on this one. Anna Kasparian, who we saw challenge, was it Liz Wheeler last night? I can't remember. Very, very pro-Israel, but listen to her, what she said.
Well, let me just be honest with you. I think that most people who are going to attack me aren't even going to listen to this interview. No, it's just the fact that we're having a conversation with each other. But I take offense to people trying to police who I can talk to. In fact, the more they try to police me, the more I want to talk to the person they forbid me to speak to. Honestly, I've always been like that. I've been like that since I was a kid. My mom knows it better than anyone. I'm just a little bit rebellious and I don't like to be told what to do. I hate it.
And what to think.
Yeah.
And who you can talk to. I mean, that's like that's a core decision. Who do I associate with?
Yeah.
Who are my friends? Who am I having dinner with? Who do I marry? I mean, if you allow other people to make those decisions for you, you're not free.
No, you're not. And oh my God, what a terrible career path to be a journalist who doesn't get to have conversations like with people that they're curious. I'm curious about you. I am.
Right.
And back to the drops, she's just being honest. I'm curious about you. And the conversation between Nick and Tucker was very cordial, very matter of fact, very, what do you believe? What do I believe? Back and forth. And it's just, it was a way to have a discussion about things. And that's all it was. And it was really, a powerful interview. This was 25 years ago. This was the open letter from Bishop Vignano. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But we sense the attacks multiplying of those who want to destroy the very basis of society, the natural family, respect for human life, love of country, freedom of education and business. We see heads of nations and religious leaders pandering to the suicide of Western culture and its Christian soul, while the fundamental rights of citizens and believers are denied in the name of a health emergency that is revealing itself more and more fully as instrumental to the establishment of an inhuman, faceless tyranny. A global plan called the Great Reset is underway. Its architect is a global elite that wants to subdue all of humanity, imposing coercive measures with which to drastically limit individual freedoms and those of entire populations. In several nations, this plan has already been approved and financed. In others, it is still in an early stage. Behind the world leaders who are the accomplices and executors of this infernal project, there are unscrupulous characters who finance the World Economic Forum and Event 201 promoting their agenda. It goes on and on. But it's the imposition of health dictatorship, aiming at an imposition of liberticidal measures hidden behind tempting promises of ensuring a universal income and canceling individual debt. So that was pretty, pretty amazing when it first came out. And it still is to this day. And it's very, very important that we keep our eyes open on that. But the reason why, let me see. Let's see. So John Basham says this. Sorry. Josh, speaking of Josh, that I just showed you, Josh Hammers. He sent me a dictionary definition of neutralize when I called him out for this, but I noticed he cut off one of the entries, so I posted it in response. He cut off one of the entries. Verb used with object to make neutral, cause to undergo neutralization, to make something ineffective, counteract, nullify. A euphemistic way of saying kill or destroy, especially in a covert or military operation. Counterintelligence programs designed to neutralize individuals. Okay? So it's much more serious than he makes it out to be. But one of these had Tucker must be neutralized. Yeah, they're really trying to make us believe this is the good guy. I have him on. Let me see if I can find that. But this is after. This is after Charlie Kirk's assassination due to political violence, political verbiage, and also Josh Hammer posted, and I'm trying. I think I did. Harrison Smith said Josh Hammer has to come to San Antonio and kiss the Alamo if he wants to continue to be welcomed in the MAGA movement. That's great. Let me find that for you. I'm sorry, folks, my head. Here it is. Here's him here.
Trying to kind of have an inclusive movement. To me, that is what the Tucker wing is trying to do. They're not trying to kind of have an inclusive movement, right? They're not trying to kind of have a marketplace of ideas, kind of free for all conversation. That's what they would have you believe. That's actually not what they're interested in doing. They're trying to burn it all down. They're trying to destroy the current iteration of the American right, literally destroy it root and branch, and then build something new in its stead. To me, that is what the Tucker wing is trying to do. They're not trying to kind of have an inclusive movement, right? They're not trying to kind of have a marketplace of ideas, kind of free for all conversation. That's what they would have you believe. That's actually.
So this is Dave Smith, who was also, excuse me, at the Turning Point USA event in Tampa that Tucker Carlson was at, where, Israel was challenged. He says, "Hey, Josh Hammer, Daily Mail, what the hell do you mean when you write that Tucker Carlson must be neutralized? Seems like a pretty reckless thing to say in the wake of the biggest political assassination in our lifetime, which is the topic of the piece. Also, who the fuck is Josh to decide who ought to be neutralized? Josh has not been elected to anything and has zero popular support. Millions of people love Tucker. Josh is known for being friends with Charlie and getting smoked in a debate with me twice. That's it." Meaning he got smoked by Dave Smith. Also, said, keep in mind, Josh Hammer is the same Israel operative that reposted a tweet about public executions the day before Charlie Kirk was publicly executed. I showed this to you the week that Charlie was shot. Josh Hammer said based, and he reposted Donald Trump should be public execution for all to see. You will end this bullshit fast. President Trump posted that 12 years ago. Okay. Josh Hammer resurrected that the day before Charlie's execution. Okay. Right. So very, very sketch. Like, this guy needs to be looked into. Okay. Not to be neutralized, not to be harmed physically in any way, shape, or form, but he needs to be looked into. Let me take you back to President Trump, just to see what he has posted very recently. Excuse me. And then I'm gonna have to wrap it up. We'll do the wheel tomorrow night, since I'm gonna be on, as my head is just, unbelievable. Okay, so I just got back from Asia, where I met with leaders of many countries, including China, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and others. It was a great honor to meet them, but more particularly to see that America is respected again. Respected like never before. Great trade deals were made. Long-term relationships now exist, and money is pouring into our country because of tariffs and, frankly, the landslide results of the 2024 presidential election. The one question that kept coming up, however, was how did the Democrats shut down the United States of America, and why did the powerful Republicans allow them to do it? The fact is, in flying back, I thought a great deal about that question. Why? Majority Leader John Thune and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson are doing a great job. But the Democrats are crazed lunatics that have lost all sense of wisdom or reality. It is a sick form of the now legendary TDS that only comes from losing too much. They want trillions of dollars to be taken from our healthcare system and given to others who are not deserving, people who have come into our country illegally. That's a fact, by the way. Many from prisons and mental institutions. This will hurt American citizens and Republicans that will not let it happen. It is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. Just a short while ago, the Democrats, while in power, fought for 3 years to do this, but were unable to pull it off because of Senators Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona. Never have the Democrats fought so hard to do something because they knew the tremendous strength that terminating the filibuster would give them. They want to substantially expand, pack the United States Supreme Court, make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico states, thereby automatically picking up 4 Senate seats, many House seats, and at least 8 electoral votes, and many other highly destructive things. Well, now we are in power, and if we did what we should be doing, it would immediately end this ridiculous country-destroying shutdown. If the Democrats ever came back into power, which would be made easier for them if the Republicans are not using the great strength and policies made available to us by ending the filibuster, the Democrats will exercise their rights, and it will be done in the first day they take office, regardless of whether or not we do it. In addition to all the other things we would get, such as the best judges, the best U.S. attorneys, the best of everything, this was a concept from years ago of then President Barack Hussein Obama and former Majority Leader Harry Reid in order to take advantage of the Republicans. Now I want to do it in order to take advantage of the Democrats. That was his last truth 34 minutes ago. And because of the fact, and this was also because of the fact that the Democrats have gone stone cold crazy, the choice is clear: initiate the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and make America great again. Okay, so back to the final two Q drops of the day. Sorry, hold on a second. This one. So the bishop's letter. Then you got 4942, October 30th, 2020. This is not about Republicans versus Democrat. This is about preserving our way of life. If America falls, the world falls. Patriots on guard. This is the great reset that they were going to do had Trump not come up with warp speed and got the vaccine, which was very different from the one that Biden gave the world and forced upon the world, by the way, that administration. Very, very different. If America falls, the world falls. Patriots on guard. And then 4943, you've got this post. What the fuck? PolitiFact rates it mostly true that the pro-police thin blue line flag is actually an anti-Black Lives Matter flag. Yeah, that was when they had the flag behind them with the thin blue line, supporting our nation's law enforcement. Fact checkers created an effort to reinforce propaganda digestion, the battle to prevent truth from reaching the people, the battle to maintain and push division. Divided you are weak, divided you fight each other, divided you pose no threat. System of control, information warfare. That's what we're up against, my friends. And knowing this makes it incredibly more easy to not get caught up in it and to kind of step back and say, wow, I see what they're doing. They're doing that. They're doing that. They're doing that. And really having a good picture of what's really happening. Thank you, my friends. I've got to wrap this up. I will see you tomorrow night at 8 Central, and I expect a really important show tomorrow night because of what I believe, what will have to transpire by tomorrow. Either they vote to, and it may happen at the end of the day, like this time. They either have to agree to the continuing resolution to fund the SNAP benefits, or it goes into Saturday morning, people not waking up with their money. So it's going to be a very, very important day tomorrow. I ask you to join me tomorrow night. We'll have some fun. We'll spin the wheel. And until then, be well. Take care. I did some meditation today at 11:44 anyway. Grounded, got my feet in the dirt. It's important for us to just connect with the things that matter, our pets, our loved ones, ourselves, be good to ourselves through all of this. Take care of you. Almost like if we were a car, we've been driving at top speeds for a very long time, and we need to pull in, take a pit stop, take a break, gas up, change the tires, etc., and then move on. But take care of you, take care of your loved ones, and much love to you. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you, Moonbeam. Thank you, Quasi Pete. Thank you all for joining us. Welcome back, our YouTubers. Much love to you all. And I bid you a good night.